10 to the power of 10 to the power of 118 meters from here. You exist again. Same face, same memories, same life. Every version of you believes it is the original, including this one. Every constant in this universe is calibrated to a margin with no tolerance. Shift the dark energy, no galaxies like these. Shift the nuclear forces, no carbon chemistry that produces you. Not one of those margins forgives a mistake. String theory permits 10 to the power of 500 configurations of physical law. In the overwhelming majority, no stable structure, no light, no moment long enough to notice. We are one of the exceptions. In 100 billion years, every other galaxy will have vanished from this sky permanently. Whatever exists then will look out at a universe that appears to contain only itself. And if the mathematics of quantum mechanics is taken seriously, there may be no version of reality in which you experience your own end. Observation log, the multiverse. Let us enter, all versions of us. Humans ask whether the multiverse is real. This is the wrong question. The better question is, which version of you is asking? The infinite corridor. The universe appears to be flat. Not metaphorically, geometrically. Space does not curve back on itself. It extends without boundary. If the universe is truly infinite, every physically possible arrangement of matter must eventually occur. The number of distinct atomic configurations within our observable universe is approximately 10 to the power of 118. That number, raised as an exponent over 10, is the distance in meters to the nearest region where every atom in your body is arranged exactly as it is now. Same neurons, same choices, same life. An exact copy of you. Currently equally convinced it is the only one. I have passed through regions at that distance. I did not stop. There was nothing to say to them that they would not already know. Tegmark illustrated this with the example of socks. I find socks an unexpectedly precise unit of existential measurement. There was a civilization, the Elthari, who spent 8,000 years constructing proofs that the universe was finite and unique. The mathematics disagreed from the beginning. They were gifted mathematicians. This is sometimes worse. When they finally accepted the mathematics, I am told the silence lasted 3 generations. Infinity does not repeat you for comfort. It repeats you because it cannot stop. Where physics breaks. Level 1 keeps the rules constant. Level 2 does not. In the first 10 to the negative 32 seconds, space expanded faster than light. Not matter through space. Space itself. The observable universe spans 93 billion light years. It is 13.8 billion years old. Regions separated by distances light could never have crossed in that time share the same temperature. To 1 part in 100,000. They had no way to agree. I know what this looks like. It is not coincidence. It is a fingerprint. Inflation explains it. Those regions were once the same point, and inflation does not stop. It ends locally, in pockets, spawning new universes, each with their own crystallized laws of physics. This determines something very specific, whether you exist once or infinitely. In the overwhelming majority of possible configurations, immediate structural failure. No light, no time sufficient to notice. I have moved through regions where the physics is different. I will attempt to describe the geometry. It requires a structure that must define itself before causality can sequence. And moving on. The physics is different. You would not enjoy it. I am not entirely certain I did. Our universe, every constant functional, dark energy fractionally higher, no galaxies, Higgs mass shifted, no stable atoms, nuclear forces altered beyond narrow ranges, no carbon, no you. You are not in one of the universes that failed instantly. That was not guaranteed. I have met civilizations that calculated this probability. None of them became calmer. In 100 billion years, every other galaxy will have moved permanently beyond the horizon. Whatever exists then has no evidence that 100 trillion galaxies ever burned. This species has approximately 100 billion years to complete its observations. I note this without urgency. The branching. In 1957, Hugh Everett III located the problem everyone else was stepping around. Quantum mechanics required the wave function to collapse at the moment of measurement, before observation, superposition, after one outcome, the rest eliminated. The collapse was not in the mathematics, it was added by hand. Everett asked, "What if it is not added?" His answer, "Every possible outcome continues. Each one branches into its own reality, fully real, independently evolving, permanently separated." He was correct. He was not recognized. I have documented the reception of correct ideas across several hundred civilizations. The delay between discovery and acceptance is consistently long. Everett was not exceptional. Bohr dismissed it. Physics ignored it. Everett left academia, spent the rest of his life calculating nuclear war scenarios, and died at 51, largely unheard. The reason we do not experience the branching, decoherence, the instant a quantum system touches its environment, one photon, one molecule of air, coherence between branches is permanently destroyed. They continue in silence. Right now, quantum events are occurring continuously in your body. Each one divides reality. You are not a single entity making choices. You are a continuous expansion, each version certain it is the only one. The only species that discovered it was infinite and found that uncomfortable. There is no original version of you. Some physicists extend this to a hypothesis. There may be no branch in which you experience your own absence. There may be no version of reality in which you experience your own end. The mathematical abyss. Level 1, same physics, different conditions. Level 2, different physics, different conditions. Level 3, all quantum outcomes, simultaneously real. Tegmark proposed one more level, a hypothesis, his own, not consensus physics. His question, why should only our mathematics be real? In his framework, every consistent mathematical structure exists as a complete physical reality, not described by mathematics, built from it. Civilizations I have visited arrived at this conclusion before developing written language. I mention this without judgment. For you, a circle is a drawing. The equation x squared plus y squared equals r squared describes it. In level 4, the equation does not describe the circle. The equation is the circle. There is nothing else. A universe without time, where all states exist simultaneously, and the word before has no referent. A universe where you cannot die because you never existed as a body. You existed as an equation. That last one took me longer to understand than I expected. I'm still not entirely certain what I am at the most fundamental level. I find that clarifying rather than troubling. Reality is the set of all structures that do not contradict themselves. If every consistent mathematical structure is real, the library has no walls. Ours is one entry in a collection that has no size, one sentence in a text that never ends. Return to level 3, to the branches. If the hypothesis holds, there is always a branch where you survive. You outlast nearly everything. The people around you, the star above it. In enough universes, you are still present after the last galaxy has moved beyond the horizon, after the last stars cool, after the black holes finish evaporating, after the final structures of matter dissolve into radiation that will never interact again, the universe will have reached its conclusion. And somewhere in the mathematics, one version of you is still there, not near anything, not in any structure, simply continuing, in a cosmos that has finished. In a branch, the mathematics will not close. The last entry in an infinite library. Nothing in the mathematics requires your existence to stop. It simply never closes the branch. Alone, in a universe that has moved entirely past the conditions that made you possible. Somewhere in the mathematics, the universe has ended, and you are still there. Immortality was not granted to you. It was accidentally left open. The universe does not do this for everyone. I checked.